Hey guys, this is Manraj. So this is how I woke up at 5 a.m. every day for 6 months. So what exactly did I do? I woke up at 5 a.m., sometimes earlier, sometimes later, 95% of the time, tracking my progress using pen and paper. Why did I do it? So I was engaging in late night activities like scrolling, watching Netflix, video games, and even substance abuse like smoking and drinking to alleviate the stresses of the day. There was a time and place for all of these things, of course, but I was doing them late at night, procrastinating true deep rest due to addiction. I was severely tired on a daily basis, struggling with lower energy levels. My mood was worsened, I was drained mentally and physically, and I felt unable to make progress despite working quite hard. I felt like every day was the same with no real purpose or strategy. So I wanted to increase my energy levels and to replace this lost time with goal-oriented, focused work early in the morning. I also wanted to get back the peacefulness of the morning, to pursue walking, journaling, meditation, giving me time for introspection to help me figure out what I want to do in my life. So with most things, it's important to have a why. So you will need to figure this out for yourself, but clicking on this video means you already have some idea of what that is. So now let me get into how I did it. So firstly, reduce technology. So this significantly affects the traditional pro-sleep inducing activities we are told to do. So for example, everyone understands to avoid technology before bed, that you're supposed to read a book. But instead, if you are spending most of your day scrolling on your phone, on your laptop at work, watching TV, playing video games, how are you supposed to read a book before bed when your mind is wired to opt for a Netflix show instead, or scroll YouTube Shorts or TikTok? You need to train your attention, which is really hard to do if you don't fight back against corporations and the systems they have put in place to try and control your attention and market product to you as a consumer. So make small, tangible changes over time to reduce technology. 3 things I did was I used OLauncher, which is a APK on Android to turn my apps and widgets into lists, combined with Samsung's black and white mode, basically making my phone less interesting, less enjoyable to use. Not because I don't want to use my phone for things that I need to, but things that I don't need to. Mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly being drawn into the colors and interesting widgets that that apps have to try and keep your attention focused on your phone. I turned off my YouTube search history so I wouldn't get recommended videos. Sometimes I'd even just open YouTube automatically by pressing Y and enter into my search bar without thinking, because I was so used to consuming content. And also I used an analog watch, so I use a Casio F91W, or it's on my wrist, which helps me track study sessions, rest periods during workouts, things like that. So this is incredibly hard to do, to reduce technology, but it is possible with small changes over time. To be honest, I would still watch like anime, Delicious in Dungeon, in the evening during the first month of trying to reduce technology as sort of a reward at the end of the day. But eventually I switched to reading manhwa on my phone, so like Solo Leveling manhwa, and then eventually I was able to switch to sci-fi books. But it was only through gradually reducing or diverting the attention from technology to non-technology solutions that I eventually wean myself off of it. Secondly, wake up at the same time and track progress. So my family has a history of sleep issues, and so my brothers visited London's leading sleep specialists, and the messaging is consistent. Wake up at the same time every time, use an alarm and work through tired days. Eventually you will acclimatize. It's quite hard to track sleep nowadays without expensive devices like an Apple Watch or a Whoop device. The Samsung Health app on my S23 Ultra is what I use to try and track my sleep, but results are admittedly inaccurate. I'm exploring other measuring solutions at the moment, so let me know if you know a better way to track sleep metrics. But having said that, the one thing you can definitely track is your wake time, so keep that consistent and the same using an alarm. Avoiding stimulants, so caffeine, alcohol and other substances. So regarding caffeine, adenosine is the biological compound in our body that promotes sleep, and it builds up while you're awake. What caffeine does is it blocks the receptors for adenosine, preventing binding, keeping us alert. So caffeine has a half-life of approximately 5 hours, so even if you drink a cup at 11 a.m, a quarter of it is still in your body by 9. If you drink it at 4 p.m, half of it is still in your body by 9. I do still drink coffee in the morning around 6 a.m, but I've replaced afternoon drinks with water and herbal teas. I find chamomile most effective. Alcohol, other substances, marijuana, whatever you decide to partake in, all of these have a negative effect on sleep. I won't go into detail for this video, but let me know if you want me to cover that. Personally, I find completely removing stimulants promotes the best quality sleep, but do what you can, right? Reduction is better than the complete absence in the first instance, and it helps you train to get there. A wind down routine. So a wind down routine is essential, and you should reverse engineer your schedule. So if you want to wake up at 5 a.m, assuming you need 8 hours of sleep, you need to work backwards, meaning you're sleeping at 9 p.m. So give yourself at least an hour to before this, so 8 p.m, to do things like brush your teeth, floss, lie down in your room. I think it's important not necessarily to feel like you need to read or stretch or meditate or journal or do something sleep productive, but even just being in your room, being in your environment, can help you wind down, process emotions, process thoughts, and help you plan for your day tomorrow and put you in that mode to get ready for sleep. Food. So food is something that I've found difficult to incorporate into my sleep routine late at night. So what I mean by that is, for a long time I was obsessed with training and ensuring that I would always try to maximize protein, calorie intakes, and due to time constraints, that typically would mean I'd be eating at 8 p.m, 9 p.m, right before bed. But that significantly affected my sleep, disrupted my sleep, even water intake, making me wake up in the middle of the night to use a bathroom. I'd suggest eating at least 3 to 4 hours before bed if possible. And if you are hungry and want to eat closer to bed, opt for easily digestible foods. So I like yogurt, berries, that sort of thing, grains, even like a protein shake or something like that. Light is important. The first thing I'd do personally when I'd wake up was go for a 10 to 15 minute walk, which actually became an anchor for my morning routine. So Andrew Huberman has great content on this in terms of how light regulates your circadian rhythm. So by going for that morning walk, I was exposing myself to natural light, cementing my circadian rhythm, letting my body know that this was time to wake up at 5. And it also included like light exercise. So walking wouldn't replace my exercise, but it became additional exercise. And it was also the most consistent thing I did during my morning routine. So I'd suggest finding something nearby your house or where you live that is a fairly easy walk that you can do quite easily. And also, yeah, light before bed is important as well. So avoiding blue light before bed, use blue light filter glasses. So for example, if I was to go downstairs and people were watching TV in the house, at least those screens I wasn't receiving the blue light emitted from those screens because I had those glasses on. I would use night filters on my phone. You can schedule those now on smartphones, Android and Apple. And I also use f.lux on my devices. Anything I've mentioned in the video, I'll try to include links to. But yeah, that's basically like another blue light filter. So also the environment is important. Keep your bedroom cool, as this promotes sleep. It's kind of a myth that people think a hot shower makes you sleep because of the heat. It's actually the cooling effect that puts you to sleep. I personally use a cheap fan from Amazon. Probably see that in the back there. because of the white noise it gives off. And yeah, it's just something that's become a bit of a habit, and it helps me sleep, particularly through hotter months. Typically through the winter months, I think it does get quite cold, so I won't use it. I'll just leave a window open or something like that. Yeah, and one more point I think I should mention as well, that I personally did this at a time when I had members of my family trying to do something similar. So accountability, camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, doing or trying to set a goal like this, or even just trying to work towards a consistent sleep schedule with someone that's able to hold you accountable, or even share a similar experience on your journey with, might be beneficial. It's something I've not really seen a lot of videos that talk about improving sleep schedules or sleep routines or waking up early mention, but I found that extremely beneficial to be able to keep consistent with this goal. So if you can do it with a friend, with a partner, with a sibling, that might help. Finally, just remember to be kind to yourself if you're trying to do a goal like this. Try not to compare yourself to others. I feel like 5 a.m. morning routines are definitely tied to that whole grind set culture. Try to remind yourself why you're doing this for yourself. And that's why before even attempting something like this, try to figure out why you want to do that. Maybe you have goals you're working towards. Maybe you just feel frustrated with stopping and starting. Maybe you have trouble maintaining habits. Maybe you just want to enjoy the quiet time that the morning gives you. For me, I found it insanely transformative. I've been able to make consistent progress towards my goals in the first half of 2025. I've definitely had periods where it's harder, but that all comes down to trying to account for all of the practical methods that I listed here, and just make sure you're doing them. Not controlling, but trying to maintain your psychology, maintain your energy levels, listen to your body. All of those things will help you as you kind of try to achieve this goal, if that's something you want to do, or if it's just something you want to do temporarily for a short amount of time. But I hope you found this valuable, and let me know what videos, or if there's anything in here you'd like me to go into more detail about, to talk about next time. Thanks.